Hello and welcome to another episode of West Underground. Today we're here with Forge the Sun, and they are on the other side of the planet, literally in Detroit, Michigan. And over here in Australia, it is early morning, so I'm here with a coffee and not long out of bed. And dudes, it's a pleasure to have you on. And how are you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm doing well. Great to be here.
Who are we joined by? What do you guys do in the band?
I'm the bassist, and Tristan is the guitar. So,
All right, that's Barret, the bass player. Yep, I'm Tristan.
Sorry.
So
that's cool, dude. And like, how long have you guys been playing together for?
Let's see. I think since like 2019. Is that right, Bear? 2019.
Yeah. Because I started bass. Yeah, like 2019.
You started playing bass in 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got a background with cello. I played cello since 5th grade, and then
I'm getting such skill and rock vibes from you, Barry.
And then I switched. I said I want to learn. I tried guitar for a little while, and I switched to bass. I like it a lot more.
Oh man, like do you ever think about just busting out the cello in the band, like just taking it out to...
Sometimes we do covers. We do cover gigs, and we'll do acoustic, and I'll play cello for some songs. I'll come out on cello.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That can't be fun to carry around though.
Nah.
It's, you know what, actually it's lighter. Even though it's way bigger, it's actually lighter than my bass.
Nice. And like, you know, like I feel like if you're gonna play an instrument before bass, like cello is probably the way to go, you know.
Yeah.
Or double bass, but
yeah. So like growing up, did you go to like a musical school? How did you get into playing the cello?
No, I'm very lucky. It's only like 2% of schools, I think, in America that have orchestras, and I went to one. So I was able to play cello starting in 5th grade and just work it up from there.
Jeez.
You guys are so lucky. Like 2% of schools in America have orchestras. Over here, it's 100%, and not all of them are good. So some of them are dead awful. And you're listening to...
Yeah, we're going to get so many Australian cello players giving us a hard time about that, but it's true. Improve yourselves before you criticize us.
Come on, guys.
Before you criticize us. So how did you, obviously I'm guessing there's a little bit of an age difference, Barret, between you and Tristan. How did you guys come to be a band then?
Well, my mom was family friends with Tristan's mom since like way back. So kind of grew up as almost cousins kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Tristan? Are you okay with cousins there, or?
I concur. It was like, his dad's like an uncle to me, and we just, grew up like basically like family. And there's the age gap, and it was one of the things when I was thinking about, who would we get to play bass? I remember like, okay, let's see, I had a list of bass players. I studied music at Wayne State, so I had some in mind. But a lot of them were like, I don't know, they were just bass players are hard to come by, right? So a lot of them are kind of occupied with other groups or other gigs or whatever. And so I was like, okay, we had some auditions for some bass players, and I was like, dude, like Barrett's like, he's really musically talented. So we just get him on bass. He's a killer cello player. And I remember teaching Barret guitar once, and he got it super fast. And that's, I think, Barret, isn't that like when you started playing bass? I was like, do you want to be in a rock band? And you were like, yeah, sure, sounds good. That was it. And he picked it up really fast. And I was just like, this is awesome, because I'm writing a lot of music, and like I can just give him something and he can play it, right?
I believe this is the only acceptable kind of grooming in the world as well. Even getting them ready. All right, you're a lucky boy.
Yeah.
At least you are Tristan. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm saying. No, that's cool, man. Because so Tristan, you kind of like, when when Barrett was younger, he was probably like coming round to the house or wherever, and the families would be, hanging out together, and you'd be like, oh, this kid's annoying, but man, he can play a cello. And then you're like, we'll just wait and see what happens there.
Actually, it was the opposite. I remember I was driving once, and I was like 17 or 18. Barrett, how old would you have been? I'm 26. You're 18, you're 18, right?
11 or something, maybe 10, 11.
Dude, you were like 11, 10, 11, whatever. And I was like playing some Slayer, and you were like, is this Raining Blood by Slayer?
Yeah, I remember that.
Kid, I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, sweet. So it's actually the opposite. I was like, oh, it's a rad little dude. So.
Oh man, I'm glad that's the case, because I had this idea in my head of like you going over there, and for years he's just the one playing like the Mozart and stuff in the corner on the cello as you're having dinner or something.
Well, he did that too, but both, right? Slayer and Mozart. Yeah, I mean, Barry played a lot of classical music, right? But
yeah, I tried. When I was growing up, I had a very wide range of music listening to when I was younger. I had orchestra, and then I had, on the way to baseball practice when I was younger, my dad would blast Nirvana full volume on the way.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
That's a real education.
Yeah.
So you guys are based in Detroit Rock City, so that must be pretty awesome to be born in Detroit and start your musical journey in a city with a bunch of history and legacy and quite a vibrant music scene. What's it been like for you guys so far? Like, what is the scene like? Walk us through what music the music world looks like in Detroit.
Tristan, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's cool. Because Detroit's got a lot of history. Just Motown, jazz. The jazz scene's insane. Cliff Bell's great jazz venue. A lot of great artists have come out of here and gone there. And see, and then you've got all the rock music that came out of the late '60s, which I'm a huge fan of. But it's still like, I mean, there's still a lot of different, it's still like there's still a lot of different sounds. You kind of go, if you go like to the Diesel Concert Lounge, which is like a little up north from Detroit, there's a lot, like there's like thrash, you can catch thrash bands, and you catch, kind of like, again, I mentioned kind of that like early 2000s kind of sound that seems to be popular. I don't really know, like, that's the technical term, but like that sound. You'll get, progressive rock bands, like the Token Lounge. They just had a progressive rock night last night. I think the band's called Imminent Sound of Destruction. So they're cool. They're from Detroit.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Totally. But then, like, if you go to thinking like more downriver, the punk scene, like the hardcore punk scene's pretty vibrant. They've got this band called Knuckle Dragger. And it's just like heavy.
I think I've heard of them, actually.
Yeah,
I think I've heard of them.
They're brutal, dude. It's just like it's like caveman hardcore punk. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And then like again, like the blues scene's pretty vibrant too. It seems like every like Caju Cafe or Cabbage Patch Saloon, you'll go there. There's always like a blues band playing. So yeah, it's just very eclectic, and I love that, because I'm a lover of all, like, basically all different styles of music. I just can't just listen to one, right? Listen to maybe, like, unless I get locked into an album, I'll get really fixated maybe on an album, but like half hour one genre, and then boom, I'm somewhere else. So blues, rock, jazz, whatever. So it's it's cool. Very different.
Yeah, man. Like, because when anybody says Detroit, there's like, all of a sudden, like Iggy Pop comes to mind, Alice Cooper comes to mind. I can see a Kiss poster over your shoulder, like the Kiss track comes to mind. Kid Rock comes to mind. Eminem comes to mind. The White Stripes come. There's just.
I got some. Let's see. What about? Have you heard of Rare Earth?
No, I haven't.
Dude, they're a sick band. They have that song, I Just Want to Celebrate.
That's a great song.
Yeah. They're hype. They're great. They're actually a Motown band.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
That's a hype track. That one, the Rockets, they're sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There's A lot of great bands that come to mind.
Do you feel pressure?
Well,
Because like I'm from Liverpool, right?
oh
and,
yeah.
and then every band you're in growing up is like, oh, so you guys think you're gonna be the next Beatles, eh? And you're like,
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I don't think there's it more feels like it doesn't really feel like a pressure. It feels more like, I don't know, it kind of feels like you're like, I feel like I'm part of like the music scene heritage and like a nice, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like carrying the torch, you know. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm picking
that's
it up.
That's a really good way of looking at it, man. I wish I could have done the same. Because it's like you're doing a service to the ones who went before, you know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really nice way of looking at it.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'll remember that next time I have an anxiety attack.
Sweet.
So, like when you guys started playing and stuff, is there any like laws, you know, for you, like Barret, like with playing in certain venues? Like now, guys, are you allowed to play like all venues, or are you restricted?
That's a great question. We've had tons of trouble, especially because I joined the band when I was 16. So there's a lot of places we just like couldn't play at, or even now sometimes I still can't play. Like we've had gigs that the day of we'll get there and then some lady will say, or some bartender will say, hey, you can't play here, or we'll have to cancel.
You just need to do the McLovin thing, like get a fake ID and grow a mustache. You need to be McLovin in your band.
Get the vest. Yeah.
What's the drinking age? 21, is it?
Yeah.
Man,
That's
is
ridiculous.
the worst. I mean, I'm saying that, and I'm from a country. I'm from a country where you binge drinking from 14 on a field with a bottle of vodka. But like, that must be a pain in the ass. That it's bad enough being 17 at home and everyone's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's crazy. That, Barret, just think of how much you're gonna enjoy it when you turn 21. Put it this way: Hamish is 22, and we're having a year off the booze. So you know,
like
3 more years, and then you'll have a year off. That's how good it'll be for you. It's so exciting, so exciting.
In Australia, you know, if you're not drinking at 16, people are worried about you.
Wow.
Yeah, they put a little cross next to your picture. They say, "Watch that kid."
Yeah, what's going on with that kid? He's weird, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, the venue thing's a funny one, isn't it? Being like, oh well, you can't play. Well, I just won't drink. You know, X me hands out if you want. Just like it's ridiculous to think that you can't do that. I'm sure you could go on like American Idol or The Voice or something like that. Before then and play an arena. So why can't you
play this little bar, right?
You can go to war.
Bar.
You know what? I like, you know, in a lot of ways, I'm really envious of America, because you guys have, you know, complete freedom to really do what you want. Like you guys, you can gamble, you can own firearms, you can now go into certain states and you know smoke pot and
smoke a little bit of weed,
but you can't drink until you're 21. I think guys, come on,
you can literally go to war, can't you? You can go to war.
I was saying,
that's so ridiculous. Honestly, man, right? And I love America, right?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to get myself shot. I love America, but you need to have a good hard look at that. Go to Afghanistan. Just don't drink any whiskey. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's backwards, man. Yeah, it's doesn't make sense.
It must keep bands together a little bit longer though. Because I find egos are often pushed a little bit further by the old Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah, Liquid Courage. People say things that they would never say.
Yeah,
right?
It's my band, man. It's my band.
Oh
yeah. John Daniels will do that to a human being. It will.
Yeah, totally.
So no, I think to be honest, like Barret, you must be like chomping at the bit. I'm gonna get off the alcohol conversation here. We're having a prohibition section now. All right, stay out of it. Barret, that must be really frustrating for you, and especially for you, Tristan, as well. Like, if an amazing gig comes up and then you can't do it, but obviously, you know, you couldn't say to Barret, "Oh well, we'll get someone else in for this," because he's there writing the songs with you, recording the music with you, practicing. And then you're like, "Oh, actually, you can't do it." You know what I mean? It's not your fault, Barret, mate. I'm on your side.
Thank you.
I'll get you the fake ID.
If there's a will, there's a way. Come on.
Yeah, there have been times too where we're like, we'll literally just have him like leave the venue and just come for the set, and that venue was like, nope, he can't be like in here at all. Meanwhile, like there were people doing cocaine in the bathroom, and it was like, dude, really, like, you know what I mean? Like it was like this whole thing's just like, I don't know. It's like a scene from Spinal Tap or something. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. So, yeah, but there's a lot of venues that have been cool about it too. The X thing is just, it's simple. Yeah, just X their hands and no big deal. There's been some really cool venues that don't give a crap. You know, they're fine with it. So, but yeah, getting a fill-in's like, that's a bummer because Barret, I know you get, when you're creating art, you get attached to it, or when you're playing it enough, and then having someone else fill in, doesn't feel the same. So,
you guys,
especially under.
Is it hard to get is it hard to obtain, fake identification over there?
Hamish, we are so not gonna get monetized for this episode, man.
I'm just
it's like you're looking YouTube in the eye and saying, "Fuck you, YouTube." That's what it's like.
Yeah. Well, I'm just genuinely curious, and I think there'd be people that are are going, yeah, guys, like, what is there a work around this? Come on.
Well,
I'm
I have friends that have them.
But
I don't know. I feel like if I were to get one, I feel like they might enforce it more on me, and like, because whenever you go to a bar with a fake ID, they always know it's fake, but they just don't care and they'll let you in anyways, right? So I mean, but if I'm playing there, they might be like, oh, he's not 21, this is fake, and then they might like get more mad at me as opposed to someone who's like buying drinks, paying to be there.
Can you grow facial hair?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, I would let that grow out and do that, and I think you're sorted here. Sorry, YouTube.
Or he walks in with a fake mustache on.
Yeah,
of course it's me.
Just make sure it's one of those bushy ones. You don't want one of those little ones.
I'll tell you a story. I knew this guy when I was in school, and he got a fake ID, but he forgot to change his date of birth on it. So he just had another ID for the same age that he was.
Well, he's got an extra one, I guess.
Yeah, absolute moron.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah. But he could drink when he was 18. So, Barret, something to look forward to. What would you say your big influences are as a band? Because there's always that conversation when you get together with other musicians and you're like, look, I kind of want to sound like this. And then a little bit of that in there. And everyone, you know what I mean? I've seen plenty of those and been part of those, join this band conversation if you like.
Yeah.
These bands.
Barret, you want to answer that one for you? Because everyone's different. It's actually pretty dramatic, like differences among the group right now in terms of influences. So yeah, what about you, Barret?
I would just say with how many different like pieces there are to each song, it's a lot kind of like Yes. I think a lot like Yes or something like Rush. But also for my bass playing, I kind of I like more being like harmonies and playing more like a rhythm guitar that's on bass. I really enjoy playing notes like that instead of just being like a droning. Which is a lot like a Justin Chamberlain Tool. Like he definitely plays a lot more like a rhythm guitar player than a bassist does. So I really like stuff like that personally when I'm playing.
Nice, man. Like, I mean that that takes a lot of time and a lot of skill and a lot of practice to obviously like refine that way of playing. And I mean, it's certainly just a lot more tasteful thing, I suppose, than just droning on a bass.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, and then but like for you guys as well, like, you know, have you played like your whole, your little circuit so far? Like, where do you go after, you like I think the question I'm trying to get at here is like, what is the what's the circuit like over there? Like, once you play the bars in Detroit and kind of build a little fan base, like where do you go next?
I would say, yeah, we're getting pretty close to pretty much, playing everywhere in Detroit. I mean, we've played a lot of places in the Metro Detroit area. And that's something that's come up with the band we've talked about. Because when you look at Michigan, it's a mitten. Yeah. So like we're like over here playing a lot, hustling. We've played like one gig in Port Austin, which is at the tip of the thumb. But this summer, our goal is to work our way up and go to Grand Rapids and start expanding and breaking out of the Detroit bubble. So that's one of our goals. And we have a tour. It's not officially like mapped out and planned, but we're planning on touring either the Midwest or it's going to be an out-of-state tour, like over the summer. So it's that's how you grow as a band. You get other people from other states to hear your music and see you live. That's the big one. It's like, okay, their music's good, but how are they live?
Yeah.
So.
You know what as well, man. I think a big part of it, like, especially when you're in a big city and there's so many bands, is like you kind of can get lost in the shuffle a little bit, and it's a popularity thing sometimes with the other bands and venues and whatever, right? So you could be a brilliant band, but you just need to get out of the circuit you're playing in, because then when you go there, it's fresh for them. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not constantly getting, a certain type of music, because I can imagine in the Midwest, influences are a lot different and bands sound a lot different. So like for you guys to get out of the States, I think that would be a really good thing for you, man. There's one thing I noticed, and Hamish often laughs at this, is that I don't write very happy songs, right? And I noticed that with you guys, and I was like, it's the bloody weather. I tell you, it's the weather. It's gotta be the weather. It's like, I can hear this. There's kind of like a dark, ominous feel to the music with a little bit of light and a little bit of hope in it. But it's really, really good, man. You should be proud of it. It's like, I think once that's exposed to a bigger audience, I don't think you'll have any trouble at all, to be honest.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you dig it. Thank you.
I don't have to say that either, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thanks. I think that's for us too, playing for seeing new faces too, because then once you start building a fan base, it's awesome. You appreciate all your fans to come out and support you, but there's something exciting about just doing something different too. For you're talking about like introducing people in other states who maybe have never heard you, and they go, wow, that band from Detroit. But like for me as a performer and writer and musician, it's exciting, just changing things up, even if it's very minute, whether it's playing somewhere else or playing in a different setting, doing something different and being heard in a different way. One example, like we did Allie, the singer in the band, her and I did this Nashville style gig where we were opening up for John Corabi. He played with Motley Crue for an album, and it was Nashville style. And I was like, you know what? I'm already in, just because like that sounds really different. The way it works is there's 3 bands on the stage. It's like all acoustic. Each band plays one song in a row, right? So it's like band A, band B, band C, and then it starts over. I was like, oh, that's hip, or just playing a different venue, going out of state, stuff like that. it's exciting, and look forward to doing different stuff with the music, especially when the album drops too. I think that's going to be pretty big because our EP is like, I think of it as like a basement EP. It was literally recorded in a basement. The drums were recorded on the first floor, but it was like literally recorded in a basement. And I like the way it came out. It was, it was good. It was a good like EP demo-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think when the album drops, because there's so much blood, sweat, and tears going into it, and it's almost done. We just have vocals left. I think that's going to open up a lot of doors. And I'm happy that people dig it. I'm happy you like our music. I'm just really proud that of the music that we've written. I really like it, and it's a piece of art I'm really happy with. So.
That's the main thing, man. If you like it, then that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Like I think you should only be thinking about that when you make music. I think if you start to think about, I don't know,
other people are gonna like this.
Yeah,
right?
That's where you shoot yourself in the foot.
The brand, man. What about the brand? And I'm
brand.
like, the brand.
The thing is, like, and I've said this to a couple of people, and I know this from my own experience, like, if you're writing it for you, in 5 years, 10 years, if the band doesn't work out right, you'll be able to go back and listen to those songs that were a moment in time where you wrote that for you. And I think it's better than, like, I've heard so many great bands, artists be like, I hate that song. And they talk about the song. And I'm like, did it buy a private jet? Yeah, but I hate it. Well, don't write it then. If you want to fucking be carting your gear around in a small car, you do you. But I think it's very important to write for yourself like that, man. And it's like, it's an exciting process, especially Tristan, if you're writing the music or whatever, and then to hear that idea that's in your mind, and then to get it, with the band, Barret brings this thing. Ali, your singer, is absolutely awesome as well. Like,
right on.
Really, really good. And it's like it's a different kind of way of doing the music as well. Like, to be honest, for me, right? So a lot of my favorite bands, my phone's not on silent here. Hamish, I'm sorry, I'm not professional. Like a lot of my favorite bands in the UK are bands that I've got, a female fronted bands. And I think that dynamic in itself adds a whole new thing. Than, the age old, I'm a bloke and I front a rock band. Like, it's just, so I think you've got the tools there, the songs are there, man. It's like, it's exciting. You should be excited. Barry, not all round your first band is ever a really good band. So this has worked well for you. This has worked really well for you. You're lucky Tristan's a good groomer.
Yeah. And boys, like, if you're recording an album in your basement too, like, that sounds like, the Black Keys kind of story too. So, like, which is cool. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you guys follow that trajectory, I mean, it's not bad. In a couple of years, we come back to you guys, and
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I mean, what I will like too is, like, because the studio albums, like, we're doing, I think we're directly, what's it called, like, directly in to, like, the recording. Right, like, so we're directly plugged into the computer. So you get, like, really clean, you get to do a bunch of takes and get it really tight and stuff. But what I do like about the EP is it was very live, like, and it has that. So it's not only, I think the album's going to be I know the album's going to be a huge improvement in a lot of ways, but it doesn't completely abandon what the EP brought, right? So it's like, they're just different, right? The EP's got this more kind of raw, live kind of sound. It was recorded with cheaper equipment, but, like, I like that, I kind of like that raw greatness. That's why a lot of those like late 60s, early 70s bands had that sound, and that's, for some people, that's the best sound. People think that's the best sound there is.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Because you don't lose that rawness. Like, one thing, and it's a big struggle, and I've been through this myself, right, is you'll have a song and it's great live, right? And then you take it to a producer and you record the song, and it loses all of its soul. It loses all of its balls. It's just, it's just a nice song now. There's no energy in it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I feel like when to do an EP like what you've done, it's a big taste of, I can tell these are going to be a good live band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of being overproduced or whatever. When are you going to release the album? When's that gonna? Have you got that in mind?
So there's not an official date, but I can give you like numbers of like completion. I mean, or not numbers, but like I think of the album as being like 80% done. There's just vocals left.
Just.
So you just vote, yeah, which is like, right. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's like, okay. But we don't want it to be like you'd said, we don't want it to be this overproduced thing. We want it to sound the way we do live. And we wanted the drums were recorded live and all that. And, so, that's good. And the drums are sounding killer on it. But in terms of when it's going to be released, we're thinking about doing 3 singles that are all going to be about 3 weeks apart to promote the album, to hype it up. And for me, artistically, to show the range of the band. And for anybody that's been following us, I'd like to release a song that was on the EP. And because we're taking the songs from the EP, we're redoing them at brighter tempos. So it's going to it just feels better at these faster tempos, and they're going to be more refined. So I was thinking maybe like a song from the EP for anyone that's been following us for the last 3 years, and just 2 others that really contrast it, that would make good singles. So we've got a really metal tune on the album. We've got some good classic rock sounding tunes on there. We've got some instrumentals that are really proggy. So we'll do that. We'll release those 3 singles, then we'll drop the album. So I think our first single, we're trying to drop it in like June. That's going to be it. So then I think probably like early September, maybe late August, we'll drop the album. So, ballpark, but pretty soon.
Send us a message when you drop the album, and we'll give it a share around for you, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Absolutely.
Send us it before you release it as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the real thing to say. You fool. You bleeding fool, you bleeding fool.
But we know it's going to be good though, Jack. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. I still want to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's the braggy thing. I like to brag. I can't help it. How have you found the old COVID-19 on the music scene? Have you had many venues close? And
it's that like, was it like 2021? I mean, that was pretty brutal, just because like playing out was just hard finding there. It was weird because with COVID, I remember there were like some periods where like, oh, it's like kind of getting better, and then it would spike back up.
Yeah.
Just kind of feel like venues would sometimes open and then they'd start closing again. And then, it just was very inconsistent. But luckily, what I found was at that time, I did quite a bit of writing for the album that we're recording now. So in some ways, it was a blessing in disguise because I had a bunch of time. There wasn't pressure to book gigs because there weren't any gigs to book. So it's like, okay, I can't beat myself up about not playing gigs. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do a bunch of writing, and it was very, very productive in that sense. Now things are pretty much back to, a lot of venues are pretty much back to normal. In the more urban areas, it's, they're pretty strict about COVID. You got to be like vaccinated and you got to show your ID and all that stuff. And then at other venues, they don't even care. You just walk in, it's whatever. So now it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, man. So over there, is it like the venue just kind of has their own house policy on all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's all based on the individual places, because I think like legally wise, like government wise, everything is all open back up. So it's really just like if a venue wants to, they can still have it closed down, or if they want to open up, they can open up. It's really just up to them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've seen venues go from, and I've seen venues change too. I've seen venues go from like being super strict about it to, not do like 2 months ago, very strict. And now they just they don't card or anything. So, it's cool.
Yeah. I think you guys, it sounds like you guys handled it, well, better than California. That's for sure. We spoke to a couple bands over there, and man, it sounded really rough.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense to me. I feel like California would probably be pretty strict on that.
Yeah.
New York or California. Yeah, one of those lovely states.
Yeah. And you know, like, oh man, it must be exciting, like just for you guys, because you've got an album on the way. You know, you've got some plans to go, to tour. But what are there any other goals for you guys that you've got laid out as well? Like any other kind of plans or things you want to tick off the bucket list?
Barret, what are some of your goals, man, for the band?
Barret just wants a fake ID.
Yeah. That's goal number one.
Man, if I could get me one of those fake IDs, man.
No, I think moving forward, I'm pretty excited to be more in on the writing. I want to move forward more writing, especially with like I said, like harmonies and stuff. I really love putting together, like building a stack of sounds that make it super thick. I love that kind of sound. And I've been looking into producing as well. I've gotten a few programs on my computer, and I'm kind of learning the ropes by myself, and I want to be able to make new sounds, which I'm really excited about.
That's cool, man. How do you do like the whole harmonies thing live? Like, how do you cut that with the band? Like, are you guys gonna have to, if you guys start doing live shows and stuff in the future down the road, will you guys have to start using multi-tracks and kind of backing tracks as well?
I love the idea of like a stack pedal, or like a like you were saying, like playing one harmony and then having that repeat over that next thing, and I can play whatever I want over top of it. I love the idea of that a lot.
Tristan?
I kind of like the, I will say, like,
you're a purist, aren't you? You're a purist. I can see it on your face. When Barret was talking, you were like, young lion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying, young lion. But that is not happening. Maybe on album 3. Album 3, Barret. Album 3. I'll give him 2.
I don't know. I really do like I mean, for me as a guitar player, and Barret too, I mean, really the whole band, we just go up there and we play, and that we play, we have a very simple setup. We don't use any pedals, and we just get this, I feel like we already get this wall of sound. It's very much just, that's the band. That's what they sound like. There's nothing else there. And it's like, I don't know. We've played quite a few kick-ass sets where I'm like, oh man, we got like, we've played some bad sets too, but I'm playing, like, thinking like, dude, like, I got to present the whole picture there. But I'm like, damn, like, we've got a decently big, like, it's a pretty big sound. And then you look at other bands, they got a whole pedal board and everything. And there's nothing against that. It's just, for me, I'll be honest, I'm not great with pedals. I think the craziest I ever got with a pedal was a wah pedal. And then after that, I was like, I don't know. And also just kind of jamming with people, whether it was like a blues jam or a jazz jam or whatever. When you go to those open jams, you're not bringing your pedal board. You're playing, and you're playing there's far more complex music that's been played without any fancy pedal or anything like that. But I do get the using that stuff as a tool, and if you feel like it augments your expression and allows you to do that stuff, for sure. I haven't had the desire to do that,
dude. I'm on the same
maybe
page.
I will.
Yeah like I went through this period where I went and bought all the, like, a bunch of pedals, and then I've come to never use them, because you feel like a tap dancer, like if you start buying too many pedals and click 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 click, trying to turn shit on and off. And it just becomes like a headache. You're like, my feet are doing just as much, jumping around with my fingers.
I think that's very, very offensive to tap dancers, that, Hamish.
Well, I think it's quite true. I mean, you got to turn on that many different.
Tappity tap. Barret, don't worry, Barret. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Thank you.
I can create some different kinds of sound. Yeah. The thing for you, Barret, right, is to go up to Tristan and say, look, Old lion. Oh, the old bull. Old
Old
bull.
lion. I like that.
Let me show you some tricks. And, teach the old dog new tricks. No, man, it's the thing is, but if you're writing as well, right? And Tristan writing, and, if everyone's coming to the bands with these different kinds of songs, it's like, it will still sound like Forge the Sun, right? Because it's you guys playing it. If Ali's singing it, it's going to sound like Forge the Sun. That is the truth about music in its realest form. I had a conversation with my band in the Grand Union. Paul, my bass player, was like, well, he'd say I was his singer. He's not my bass player. He was like, oh, I've got this song, but I don't think it sounds like the Grand Union. And I was like, if you're playing it and I'm singing it, it's going to sound like the Grand Union. That's just the way it is. People may not like it as much, but it's still going to sound the same. I just think the different influences, and obviously like Barret being 18, his life experiences that he's going through now, and what your life experiences that you're going through, Tristan, that can make a very nice blend of music there.
So, yeah,
I'm excited. I'm really excited to hear this album. I'll be honest. Send me it now. Send me it. Sing it for me, Barret. Sing it for me.
Dude.
Now,
Did you say your bass player's name is Paul?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's from Liverpool, and his name.
No,
is
he's
Paul,
not actually. He's from Manchester.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right, the pressure's off. Okay.
Oasis. Yeah, he's unfortunately he's from Manchester. He's not as good as Paul McCartney anyway.
now Tristan, you're the guitar dude, man. Walk me through, like, what amps are you using, and what are your axes of choice?
So I play through a Fender Mustang, and let's see, I was playing through a Line 6 for a while, and what was funny about that was people would be like Line 6, and they'd like, as soon as I said Line 6, of course it would like trigger every negative opinion in the room. They'd be like, oh, but I would play, we played a couple gigs where I kind of like pushed it to the side, and people were like, your tone's amazing, man. What are you playing through? I'm like, it's the Line 6 Spider 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, for reals? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just, again, it's no pedals, nothing, controlling the volume with my just on my guitar, stuff like that. I like that. I do feel, kind of going back to the pedal thing, but also talking about the gear when I'm playing through, I feel more disconnected from the experience I've had using the pedals, and it could just be that I need to get better at it. I feel very attached to just being able to attach to the music when I can just control the volume with my hands and create dynamics from how hard I pluck to if I use my thumb or my pick, like Wes Montgomery would do that, just use his thumb for a warmer tone or a pick for sharper attack. So yeah, and then I'm playing through let's see, what is it? The John Scofield Ibanez semi hollow body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like semi hollow body guitars. I think they're very versatile. And when I was studying music, I'd be playing some jazz music, and then I'd go playing a rock band I was filling in, and I didn't want to carry around like 2 or 3 different guitars. So the hollow body is one that I just started gravitating towards. And I make it because of its versatility. There's a lot of players from different styles that play it. You kind of think of I think George Benson famously plays a full hollow body, but still like hollow body. I think was it Steve Howe from Yes plays full and semi hollow bodies. Ted Nugent, the Beatles, they played hollow bodies, and I think they were onto something.
Yeah,
those are good. Those are really good guitars. They look beautiful too, which is awesome. And I like when I'm not plugged in the sound I get. I'm just casually playing around and strumming. It projects better with those F holes, so yeah, that's what I'm playing through. What about you, Bear? What's your exact bass?
Well, it's kind of a like a Frankenstein. So this guy, I got it from a music store. There was a guy who loved the idea of the it was a run of Fender basses they made called like War Torn, or like this like where they would take just a normal Fender like jazz bass, and they would just bang it up, make it look like it had gone on tour for like 30 years. and then sell it for like $2,500. So this guy, he was like, well, that's kind of some bull crap. So he bought his own fender parts. And he banged them up himself and he put it together. So it's still a Fender. It's kind of just a amalgamation of different parts, and he banged it up to look like it had been on tour for 40 years. So I got it for a good deal because it wasn't really
legitimate,
supposed to be banged up like that. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Is that like the Road Worn series? Like,
right, that's what it was.
Oh, okay. I was like, if there's a war-torn series, that must be seriously banged up. You know, that must be one after the Road Worn.
The battle
got shot a few times. Yeah.
They're tying those guitars to the back of cars and driving over gravel or something. Oh man. And like, have you guys done any like done any mods to, like, have you done any further mods to it, Barret?
No, I just kind of left it as is. I just play on, I don't play on any different strings or anything either, just normal.
Yeah. Four string, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to get a 5-string, especially for more melodies. Playing like a rhythm guitar, I think a 5-string bass would be sweet.
You look like a 5-string man. I reckon you. You look like one of those dudes who play like a 5-string bass and then eventually go up to like a 6.
Yeah, like a 10-string, just
man. But that's awesome. And Tristan, what amp are you using now? Like, you still using the Line 6, or have you?
I'm using the Fender Mustang. I think it's like a Fender Mustang 2000 or whatever. That's the amp I'm using right now. The Line 6 kicked ass. I thought it was really awesome. But then we started playing some gigs and it would overheat and just shut off.
Yeah.
And that was like one of those things where I'm like, oh man, you know, I can't play a 45-minute set with it because it's gonna shut off. And I'm like, okay, well, and then we'd have another set where it's like we have a 30-minute time slot. I'm like, oh, it's cutting it kind of close. And then we played this festival and they were like, you have a 25-minute set. I was kind of debating. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to risk the amp turning off because it gets overheated. So that's when I went to the Fender Mustang. And it's cool. It's got some like, you know, solid state amp. They've got some like 100 presets, and found one I really like. So I think it sounds good. You know, they also say, you know, a lot of tone comes from your hands too. And I can hear, still sounds like me, but it's got the beef, you know, it's got the volume. I'm not worried about it turning off, which then makes me feel more confident when I'm playing that it's not going to shut off. So
that's a bit of a worry that you don't need, I feel like.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Man, and I have to apologize too. I forgot that, like, when you said you have like your Fender Mustang, I thought you were talking about the guitar. So said the. So I thought, oh man, you're using 2 guitars. You've got a hollow body, like a semi hollow body, and the Fender Mustang.
For all the viewers and listeners, Hamish woke up very late this morning, and with the guys being in Detroit, you know, we're doing our best with the time difference. And Hamish is there, no coffee in him yet, no ADHD medicine in him yet. He's raw. Yeah, he's like your EP. He's raw. He's very raw, but he's handsome and we love him. But guys, I wanna thank you for coming on. Like, I'm really glad like we made this happen. I'm glad you reached out, and I'm glad to have Forge the Sun in my life now. This is
thanks for having us.
When's this album done? Let me listen to the album. You'll be like, leave me alone, you strange voice man.
Absolutely will. Thanks for having us.
No worries, man. And let us know eventually, like when you come down under, and that'll be sick.
Yeah, maybe we'll get like on a bill with like Midnight Oil or something, and like,
dude, you know Midnight Oil? Like I am surprised that you even know who Midnight Oil are.
Yeah, dude. Like they play. What's that? How can we sleep with our beds all burning? That's on. It's on the radio here.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is. Right.
Hey Jack, before we wrap up this podcast, what other Australian bands do you guys know? Just throwing it out.
Well, ACDC,
I don't listen to any Australian music. That is all Tristan. He is a music man.
Isn't ACDC from Australia?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Because like, isn't Brian? Let's see.
Well, born in Scotland, immigrated to Australia, kind of thing.
It's all right. After all the atrocities we've done in Australia, we let them have AC/DC.
Mhm.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I don't know. What are some bands you'd recommend? Because I mean,
Tame
I'm
Impala.
more like who?
Tame Impala.
He's
I've
from
heard that name a
Australia?
lot. A lot of my
Yeah.
students mention that band.
Huh.
Or is it a duo? Is that
It's
No,
just
it's a band.
Kevin
or it's
Parker,
a
yeah.
band? Okay.
Yeah, they're very good. They're probably one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Wow. Okay.
And he
Cool.
sounds like John Lennon. So there's kind of a thing about them of like, if the
Cool.
Beatles would have carried on and
Yeah.
would have carried on taking acid, maybe that's where it would have went. But
Yeah.
honestly, man, check them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
check.
send us some bands. I'd love to
yeah,
check them out.
you'll really like them.
Check
who
out the
else?
chats.
I
I would
love-
say check out the chats. I think you guys would have a laugh out of that.
The Chad.
The chats.
Oh,
CHATS.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Grand Union. Got to plug my own band. Boom. Done. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right.
Boom. Roasted. Who else? Hamish. Honestly, it's a good scene over it. It's a healthy scene. It's Australia's kind of like America, of where you've got. It's big enough that if you just make that market your own, you don't really need to go anywhere else. I got here and there was like a TV show about this guy, and he's like, it's like Australian rock legend, and they're like, I'm like, who on God's green earth is this man? And then by the end of the show, I was like, he's a legend, mate. I'm not going to say that longer. But that's because it's so like, it doesn't need to do anything else with the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Whereas like in Britain, you're like, need to get to America, have to get to America.
Right.
Australia's like, well, just be big here. Have a perfect life.
What about like I'm surprised you knew who Midnight Oil before In Excess. Like I'm surprised that, because I would think that you guys would have known who In Excess is before Midnight Oil.
Oh yeah, just they play that song all the time, and I've like played the Midnight Oil like Pandora radio station, and I've heard some of their tunes. I'm like, oh, this band's like, I dig them, they're cool. Like,
but Hamish,
too. It kind of reminds me of our song Nature. It's like a whole like, don't destroy the earth concept, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they're sweet. He's got a wild voice.
Yeah.
Does that? Yeah.
Hamish, they've got the Doors. They don't need an excess.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
true.
the door. Oh.
Do you not like the Doors?
Oh no, they're
No?
so over. Oh, I think they're so. I don't know. I can find anything about a band I like. I like to find bands, even if I don't necessarily like them. I go, did I write a song like? That's I try to find the silver lining in everything, like whether it's a song form or if there's a key change. Like let's see, what is that? Like Michael Jackson does a lot of key changes in a song. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe do we have any songs where we're doing key changes? Do we have any songs where we're playing, a bunch of like extended chords and seventh chord? No, I might do that. I try to. The Doors, I don't know, I'm not quite there yet. I just feel like they're a little.
You guys are from,
but
you guys being from Detroit, you've got all the other wild bands, man. You don't need the Doors. You guys are doing fine. Let California have those.
There's so many great bands that never made it even close to the level of stardom the Doors did. Like I think of the band Cactus, and that band, like they're a kick-ass band. I think it was Jim McCarty, I think is his name. Awesome guitar player. He's from I think he's from Sterling Heights, Michigan. He played in the Rockets, played in Cactus. He played in Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. A lot of like great Detroit bands. But I think of Cactus, I'm like, that's a badass band, and like not even like close to the level of stardom as the Doors. I'm just like, man. I think you guys had mentioned like there's you can be a kick-ass band. You just got to get yourself out there. You just got to. It's a lot of just keep exposing your music to people and get out there. But with them, I don't think they put out like I think like 4 or 5 albums, and then they just like one of those albums too was a recent like reunion album, or that might have been Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. I think that was actually that might have been them. But anyways, yeah, I just think of that band. Let's see if I have. Oh yeah, here they are. All right, here we go. This album's killer. So I'm gonna listen to those Australian bands, and then send me some bands from Liverpool. This album is their second album, super underrated. Cactus.
Yeah.
Dude, the guitar work's insane. It's awesome. So, I don't know. So I get kind of the hype for the Doors, but also another part of my brain is just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But whatever, you know.
I can understand that actually when with the music just from Detroit, if you think about it that way, to go and listen to the Doors is maybe a little bit off topic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's like all your friends like, oh man, Iggy and the Stooges, like in my room, I want you here, and you're like, this is the end.
My only friends.
Come
Yeah.
on, baby, light my fire. And
Hey,
like,
don't
dude,
you keep that song out of your mouth. That is it. I'm kidding. Right,
Where's
guys,
the meat,
thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for giving us your Detroit time.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
No worries, man. A pleasure. We'll get you guys probably on when the album comes out as well, because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to do that. That'd be
Once
great.
you like the Doors, we'll get you back on. Barret, you need to work
See
on
you
it.
in the next lifetime.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Take care, dudes.
Bye.
Bye.